Jenny.
And I'm Ray.
And we're Weber Family Reviews. And today we've got games that our spouse plays grudgingly, that we love.
Yep. Basically, these are the games that, she has no taste, so she doesn't like them, but she'll put up with them.
Yeah, and these are the games that he shows no taste in. And I even made him wear matching shirts for this, though. So, that was part of doing this one.
That's my punishment, because this was my idea. And I'll start with Pixel Tactics. You'll notice a theme as we go through, and one of them's combat. She wants games with combat that you can react, and they're still not her favorite. But Pixel Tactics is a 2-player game where you're playing cards into a grid, and those cards do certain things depending on where they are in the grid, and that's your timing. It's a fun little game. It's pretty solid. She beats me most of the time at it. I still like it. But it has several things that she really doesn't enjoy, including the combat. She just doesn't like it. So she plays it with me, but only grudgingly.
And luckily, our oldest will play it with him. I also don't like the artwork, and that's not my shtick. I don't like the games that just combat. It's not my thing. So, I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't want to play it. Now we love Pandemic. Well, I love it more than he does. This is the one he hates.
Yep.
This is the one if he could say would be gone, would be gone. And this is you are fighting, you're running dams in the Low Countries, and you are trying to pump them out and keep, them from flooding. I think it's really kind of a cool mechanic is how you work the dams and stuff, but the extra steps and the way the dams work just drive him nuts. He doesn't like it, he thinks it's too fiddly. Mm-hmm. And we have all the different expansions of Pandemic, other than that, we don't have the Cthulhu. Isn't there Cthulhu?
Well, those aren't expansions. We got all the Pandemic games. We've got Iberia. I love it. The Rome. Fall of Rome, not Glory to Rome. Fall of Rome. Great game. This one just did not, but I will play it. It's just grudgingly.
Yeah, he doesn't like this one. And he just informed me that there's a new one coming out, the World of Warcraft, and he says if I keep this one, he's buying that one, but I guess it is what it is, so. But yeah, I like the mechanics here. I think it's cool how you do it, but it didn't hit with him.
Nope.
And so this is, of all the Pandemics, and we have a lot of Pandemics, this is not his.
Nope. Alright, Marvel United. And I admit that this is not my favorite co-op. But I find it fun, light, quick. The boys like it. She found it so bland and blah that she would play it only grudgingly and would grab any other co-op before this one or any other Marvel game before this one. She will play Dice Masters.
Oh yeah, Dice Masters actually feels like you're doing something. This is like vanilla on top of vanilla. Now you're all going to say we need the 4 gazillion expansions. I don't think you should need 4 gazillion expansions to make a game good. Now, if we buy anything, we'll buy the one that lets us do one versus many, so our oldest can be the bad guy.
The X-Men.
I will say the one really cool thing in this co-op is they've done a much better job making co-ops cooperative. Mm-hmm. And this one's really cool in that when you play a card, you get to play not only your card, but the person's before you's actions. And so when you're picking actions, you're often picking actions that the next person needs. And I do think that is a really cool mechanic I'd like to see in more games.
Yep.
We played this and I'm like, this is the most vanilla thing I've ever done. And there's so many Marvel games. I don't know why this one is so freaking overhyped. It is not that good.
Grudgingly.
The kids like it, so that's why it's still on the shelf. Or I might have convinced them to get rid of it. Anyways. Cottage Garden. I like all this. We don't have the other 2 in the trilogy. If I found them somewhere, I might pick them up. Mm-hmm. I think this is beautiful. I love I love Tetrising all my different plants, and I like how pretty it is when it's done. I also love the scoring track, that you go up different amounts.
Yep.
And there's this backwards one at the end to your last round. You're going backwards. I think there's really cool stuff in here. But I know what he doesn't like about this is that there's just so many pieces. It's similar to, I don't like patchwork for the same reason why I like patchwork, but I don't love it. It takes up so much table space for what it is. This one is the same way. It's a lot of pieces scattered everywhere, and you're always fiddling with it. And I know he doesn't like that. Like when you finish, when you have to put all your stuff back, and you're supposed to put in different orders and all this stuff. This is one where the app is pretty good, and it's almost worth just playing the app because then you don't have a table full of stuff. Now I think this is worth the table full of stuff more so than Patchwork because there's more here, but it's still a table full of stuff, and I know that fiddle part is his issue.
For what the game is, you know, there's a lot of fiddle in a game like Eclipse. But you feel like you're doing something. Here you fiddle, and you're playing with the dice, you're moving the dice around, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you're playing a polyomino game.
I know, but they're such pretty flowers. You're planting flowers.
What about the cats in the Isle
I
of
know,
Cats?
but the cats are coming, and then the cats are coming, and they're like.
But the
sitting
Isle
there.
of Cats.
Oh, the Isle of Cats is good too.
Yeah, see, same thing, less fiddle.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like it, and I think there's some really cool things. I love the scoring track. I think it's a really well done game, and we even have the Easter expansion. Which
You get me? That's probably the most played game between us on the table.
Yeah.
With you and I, you know.
I also think it's because it's so quick. It's not really that long.
No.
It takes almost as long to set up and get all pieces out as it does to play.
That's another problem. With
Yeah.
it.
Well, we've actually discovered that with ourselves is we don't like games that take a lot of setup. Oh.
Rage in the Blood.
Yeah, it's area control and it's combat. Both things I detest.
That is not entirely true. You don't detest all area control.
No, you're right. We were just playing Rourke, so I can't really talk.
But she likes things with prettier artwork.
Yes.
You know, in this particular case, the artwork I think is amazing, but I would not go out on a limb and say it's pretty. The game has a number of factors that go beyond the area control. And this is one of the games she will play probably more readily than any of the other ones in this stack. Solely because we tend to play this with our friends. And it becomes an experience. And it's enjoyable. And even she admits, as a game, it's a solid, good game. With all the pieces, the drafting, all of that. But at the end of the day, there's a large area control manipulation. And there's, even though oftentimes deterministic, except for the card play, it's combat. So it's not something that sits well with her. I still think it's a great game. She's willing to play this, and I think out of all the ones on my grouping, this is the one that's easiest to go, hey, will you play Blood Rage with me? Well, tell you, and I'm like, our friends are coming, they want to play it. All right, we'll play it. And she has a reasonable time with it. It just really is taking two things she doesn't like and then going, yeah, let's center a game around it.
Well, and then you add in miniatures that I don't find appealing. And I know a lot of people love them. I just look at it and go, eh. And that's probably the girly girl in me, and I'm such a girly girl.
No.
But anyways,
Speaking of girly girl.
yeah, this is totally a girl game. And this definitely, the whole goal of this is to marry the bachelors at the end. So I'm making Ray play a game where he's trying to, find the most eligible suitor. Now, I love Jane Austen. And for me, this is all about the theme. I find this just so much fun to play. And I like playing with other people who enjoy Austen. I actually backed this on Kickstarter. Like, this to me is just a lot of fun. But you have to be an Austen fan because the game is it's not a bad game, but it's certainly not a highly strategic one. There's a lot of luck. There's a lot of randomness. Yes. So you're definitely not playing this for the intricate gameplay. You're playing this because I want to marry Mr. Darcy. And it's cool because if you play the books, you can marry anyone, but you get more points for marrying the person who was in the book. And all the little cards come with vignettes from the book. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. But he's like, okay, if I have to, I will play that.
The theme bothers me less than you get random cards that you got to play. And I'm like, there's a lot of ones that do that. But then you got random cards that require you to roll dice that come up that will then randomize your cards more.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I don't think I did anything. But you like it, I play it.
It is. It's, yeah.
Speaking of I like it, you play it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like Tolkien. I do. Lord of the Rings, good. This game is actually really good. First of all, no dice. I like no dice. Card-based. Woohoo!
Actually, that's not true. He adores dice. Dice hate him.
That's a good point. But card-based, reasonable play. It's an adventure game. She doesn't mind adventure games, but she wants them to be lighter and fluffier. And again, the artwork is great, but the artwork is
Dark.
dark. No, there's some dark. This is kind of almost dark. And again, it's heavily based around combat. Now, it's cooperative, so it's better. But it's still based around combat and exploration. And that really isn't her thing. So she'll play it with me at least 2 more times.
He put it on his 2 for $20. But the other thing too is I'm over campaign games.
Yeah.
We're gaming squirrels, and we play so many different games. It's hard for us to commit to a campaign. Like we've done Pandemic Legacy. We're in the middle of season 0 with some friends, but it's hard for us to get through a campaign. So I don't like a game that requires you to play a bunch in a row. I just don't have that commitment to one because I want to play 10 in that time. And it's not that I don't replay games.
No.
We do. There's games we played lots and lots of times. But to have to commit to one through a campaign is hard. Well, like, I want to do we have the next expansion for Harry Potter, and we haven't got to the table yet. And I really want to get that to the table. But, again, making that commitment
And we want to play through Adventure Tactics, too.
Yeah, so see, it's like, we end up with these, but at the same time, like, it's hard. We're trying to play D&D with the kids.
Hey, the D&D thing's going pretty good.
Yeah.
But
it's hard to commit to a campaign. So that's another reason I don't like that game.
That's why when the opportunity came up for a reasonable price, I got Altar Quest. You can do those as one-shots.
Yeah, we'll see. I still don't. Altar Quest is not intriguing me, but he says
It doesn't. It's not going to intrigue you. It will be on this list next time.
Yeah.
You're up.
Okay. Agricula, all creatures great and small. Now I love both full Agricula and this one. He hates them both. He likes this one slightly better than the other one. We don't own the other one anymore. He doesn't like the feed your people mechanism. He doesn't like that you can't specialize.
That one.
So this one is very punishing if you don't do a little bit of everything. You go negative. I mean, you can literally end up with negative scores in these games. And so you have to do a little bit of everything. And if he's like, I want to be a sheep farmer, I want to be a sheep farmer. If I want to do carrots, I can do carrots. And you can't in this, or you will get punished. And so he doesn't like that. But I love all the little meeples and building my farm, playing with the fences. And I like all the different buildings I can build. I love it, but drives him nuts.
It's really, to me, it's a one-note thing. I know there's lots of pathways, but it's all the pathways to do one thing. Do everything. Get everything. You need horses. How many horses? You got to have a lot, so I got to be... So it's more of a puzzle. It's not even solvable. It's just more of a puzzle than... If I want a puzzle game, I'm going to go for a puzzle game, not necessarily a worker placement where... Okay, so I have to do cows and sheep. And, oh look, she took all the sheep. Well, that's a bummer, because I need 3 to get not penalized.
Actually, you need 4.
I need 4 sheep to not get
0
penalized.
to 3 is -3, and then you have to get up to like 5, 6, 7, or 8 before you even get a point. So it's like once you have to get 3 of each, and then you could specialize and get points. But it is, and it's what drives him nuts. But I really like it. The app's pretty good, but I would say from playing the app, it's better if you've played it in real before you try doing the app, or it's hard to learn the app. At least for me, but that might just be that I'm not a big app person. But I really like it. And this one is the one he will play over the full Agricula, so that's the reason this is the one we still own.
All right, nostalgia, and still like Tolkien. War of the Ring. Now, this one she plays begrudgingly, but she has played it when we've done it 4-player. She has played it 2-player. We've got some amazing stories out of it, so she is probably Blood Rage is probably the easiest to get her going. Well, I can get her going Blood Rage and Marvel United before this one. Marvel United because of the kids. But this one she will play about once a year. She's willing to give me once a year or twice if we do a 4-player with friends where her and her friend are able to take the entire fellowship to Mountain Dew.
Yes, it was awesome. I will give him that this one does. The last time we played this, I won military victory with the free people by going north.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
Gandalf.
Yeah. Gandalf held off all his orcs by himself. It was awesome.
Gandalf the White hanging out with a single elf wiped out 30 orcs. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We'll just stand here and you go take the top.
Both that and Battle of 5 Armies. I don't like all the combat. I don't like the big... I don't know. It's just not my thing. But as I said, at least it does. I will admit, it gives you really great, memorable experiences usually. Most of our games of it I can remember distinctly, where I can't say that about a lot of other games.
Yep.
Okay, this is Mystery of the Abbey. This is really grown-up Clue. But it does take the roll and move out of Clue, which is the most obnoxious part about Clue. And you have a lot more freedom in how you ask questions. But we were discussing this. His problem with this is every couple of rounds the bell rings and you're all retracted back to the center. Well, if you were heading somewhere and you finally almost got there, that's really, really aggravating. And so he finds that the movement in here still annoys him. Not in the same way the roll and move of Clue does, but it's still an aggravation. And it's still the basic thing. You have a hand of cards, you have a sheet in front of you, and you're checking off things as you ask other people questions, and you're trying to narrow down who's the bad guy. But you're trying to get around the Abbey, and,
Bong.
Yes.
Everybody back to the middle.
And this is definitely a game that plays better at a full player count. And so this isn't a good 2-player game. Just like Clue isn't a good 2-player game. You want the full player count, and then this is, I think, a fun experience. And so I really enjoy it. I like it. Actually, it says 3 to 6 in the back. I'm staring at it.
Oh yeah, it's better with the full complement.
It's better. This is one of those games that's good at 6 because then everyone has a few cards. You're asking questions. You're trying to figure it out. But it's again still the same. It's a different version of the movement problem of Clue that bugs him with this one. So, but.
Yep. All right. So, games she'll play or I will play begrudgingly because our spouse loves the game.
And for the most part, we're pretty good at that. We mostly own games that we both enjoy, and he's much more of an omni gamer than I am. I think this was easier for him to pick out games than it was for me. And when we went downstairs, we actually both put back one of the other person's games, and we're like, oh, I don't mind that one. And we kind of debated on some of his, on what is your most annoying. And then there was one like Chai. Honestly, he hates Chai. Hates it. But we ordered one of the expansions. I'm hoping they'll fix it because I really, really want to like Chai. But right now I can't say I like it all that much, so I didn't pull it. But we've discussed, most of the time we know what each other doesn't like. And luckily, the kids are starting to play certain ones with them. And that's fixed it. Like Catan used to be something you didn't like, but he likes it now that we play it with the kids.
They do quite well with it.
So, I think we're overall pretty good at what we play together.
Yeah.
But then we've got a couple that, and we know what each other doesn't and doesn't like, but.
Yep. All right.
Okay, what does your significant other put up with? Let us know in the comments.
Game-wise.
Oh.
Game-wise.
Yeah, let's not broaden that.
We can say board game or video game, but game-wise.
Yeah. Don't tell us the rest of it.
Don't open that door. All right. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.